Hi, I'm Brian Miller, and as an artist, I've always been drawn to printmaking. Over the last couple of years, art journaling has started being something I'm much more interested in, where I'm combining words and my story and images together to start to express my own personal story. So today I'm going to introduce you to the Jelly Plate. It's a printmaking tool, a very user-friendly printmaking tool that allows me to combine my love for printmaking with my new love for art journaling. And I'm going to do a 3-layer print which shows some of my past, some of my present, and what I hope for my future. Okay, first thing we're going to do, or I'm going to do, is I'm going to make some apples I'm going to use for a mask. So I'm just taking a sheet of regular, pretty thin paper. I'm going to draw some little apples that I will cut out. These are just very loose shapes. I'm just using some printer's paper that will be very thin, which will work great with the jelly print. So I'll take that, then I'm going to take my X-Acto blade and cut them out. And I'm going to cut the stems out separate from the apples. So then I can place them down on the page wherever I would like. Now this will be part of my past, which one of the things I remember as a kid loving to do was sitting under this apple tree. It was a crab apple tree in our side yard, and I remember putting a hammock under there, tied from that tree to another tree, and spending hours just reading and wondering underneath that tree. It was such a great place to be. So I'm going to start by putting this non-stick craft mat down. I'm going to go ahead and tape that down. This gives a great surface for putting the jelly plate on where it doesn't shift around. Okay. Now I'm going to take my jelly plate out, and you can see this one is heavily used, and I'm going to just put it a little bit off center here. Okay, for the actual printing, I'm using a 90-pound printer's paper, and it has a little bit of tooth to it and allows it to pick up the paint really well. It's also not too thick where it's really hard to get the image and hard to press through to get the image to transfer onto the paper. Now I'm going to take a piece of printing paper and line it up. And what I'm going to do, this is the trick here, is I'm going to take a piece of tape and tape it down to the surface. This way, every time we make a separate run of the printing, it'll always line up. So we have the paper nicely secure, we have the jelly plate nicely secure, and every time we do a layer, it'll go ahead and re-register the same spot. That way it doesn't get quite as shifting. It'll shift a little bit, but not as much as if you didn't tape it down. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit of the green gold on the plate. Then I'm going to take a roller and just spread it out over the whole page. And I'm using a printer's baren to go ahead and press down the paper. You can also use a wooden spoon or just use your hand to press it down. Get the first layer of color. Now there's a bunch of spots on there, so I'm going to go ahead and do a second pass of the same color just to try and make it a little more even. I'm not cleaning the plate between, so we'll see how it picks up some of that gold green down from below. And I think that just makes it more interesting. I'm going to go ahead and just randomly drop my apples. I'll kind of put where I want the stems to be. Now what I'm doing is, wherever I've put these apples, the original green gold will show through.
Now, very carefully peel these off. I'm going to use a palette knife just to pick these off, because you do not want to break the surface of the jelly plate.
Okay, for the second layer, I'm going to talk about present time, my time now. And one of the things that I really love doing is sitting out on my back porch and looking at the trees, watching the wind blow through the trees, watching all the birds come into and out of the trees and playing around. We've got a couple of bird feeders out there. And it brings me such joy and allows me to relax and restore my soul. So I'm going to use the stencil of a tree as the starting point for my present layer. And I'll show you how I do it.
I want the tree to appear, well, I think I want the tree to appear on this side here. So I want it to look like this. So I have to flip it over and put it down here. So that's where I'm going to put my stencil. And I just want to put some paint in the area that the tree is going to be used in. So I'm just going to put a little bit of the green here. Take my roller, spread out the ink, the paint. And again, since the roller's a little dirty, it's picking up some of the robin's egg blue from before, and that's going to actually enhance the image because you're starting to make the colors blend and be more cohesive together. Just want it like that, just want it like this, and just figure out where to put the image. So I'll put it right there. Now what the mask is going to, or what the stencil is going to do is just allow the paint that is inside the stencil to come through. So we'll go ahead and drop the paper down again, and we can see the stencil comes through really nice there. Now, since I've used primarily greens and blues and more towards the green side, I'm going to use a complementary color, which is opposite of green, and that's the red family. So I'm going to go ahead and use this Naphthol Red Light. I want to do my words in this area here. Okay. You have to write backwards because this is an inverse image. Write basically what I want for my future. I want to have wonder. So again, it's backwards, but now what I'm going to do is scrape off some of this extra paint. Piece of paper just to mask that area off. And now you do not want to press it as hard as some of the other layers because it'll squish too much. And there we have the word wonder.
Okay, here's the final image, and this is the final print that I did. It's really special to me because, first of all, it tells my personal story. It also uses one of my favorite mediums, printmaking, and combines it with my art journaling that I'm experiencing and loving now. It really makes me feel alive and creative. So you can frame it like this, or you could take it and glue it into your art journal and add more words and reflections and text to it and live with that. Either way, it allows you to use the image in lots of different ways that are purposeful for you. So I hope you'll go and get your own jelly plate, make your own masks, grab some of Donna's stencils, and find your own inspiring words to print your own story.
There's a tradition in printmaking where you make a ghost print. It's when you use the leftover paint or ink that is on a plate to create a second image. So you lay a sheet of paper down, peel off the excess paint. It does two things. It makes a new image that's interesting, and it cleans the plate off. The image I'm creating here consisted of the ghost prints pulled from the second and third pass to create this new piece of art.
I live here.